Now, Islamic State insurgents have attacked the gas-rich town of Macomia in Mozambique. This is one of the most recent attacks in the region since December of 2023. The Mozambican government has been pushing for recommencement of the Total Energies $20 billion liquefied natural gas project. Authorities were forced to halt the project in 2021 after insurgents killed more than 800 people near Palma town. Let's unpack the story further this afternoon. We're joined by security expert Jasmine Opperman. Jasmine, it's always great to talk to you. Thanks very much indeed for coming on. What do you think sparked this latest attack?
Afternoon, Michelle. This has been brewing. This attack comes as no surprise. We have to see it in the broader context. Since the announcement that SAMM is going to withdraw, if I may interrupt myself, which is a fatal mistake, we have seen an uptick in Kusanga, Macomia, where SAMM was deployed. We have seen beheadings of more than 20 government soldiers on the Mozambican side. We have seen insurgent groups getting bigger and bigger. We have seen insurgent groups with a clear-cut strategy of winning hearts and minds, spending time like they did on the Friday attack in Macomia, informing the civilians that they're not here to kill them. They're here to make friends. They're here to protect them, and by simultaneously spreading the extremist narrative. Michelle, we are in a serious crisis. I have not seen this insurgency spiraling like I've seen now. During the month of April, we've had the highest level of incidents related to insurgents since it has started in 2017.
So where to from here, Jasmine? I mean, it's understandable that there are groups that have pulled out of the country, right? Because it's incredibly dangerous.
SAMM is needed in Cabo Delgado. The problem, Michelle, is DRC sneezes and Cabo Delgado catches a flu. Mm-hmm. We cannot have and fight two insurgencies on a front. Mm. Yes, the military will not, we know the statement, will not provide the solution. That's not what I'm saying. But their presence has proven to be effective in countering the insurgents in those two specific areas. Rwanda being deployed can only move out of Palma, out of MDP, if the Mozambican government government approve it. What is needed is three levels: diplomatic level, political intervention, and from there on, an integrated, coherent strategy to address what is busy spiraling. We must not forget, Michelle, we are seeing the Islamic State, an international terror group, in full force. And if I may add, and it may sound controversial, and I don't mean to be controversial, if I look at the amount of energy being spent on Gaza and Israel, why is it that the region cannot equal that to put pressure on Maputo to start revisiting its diplomatic engagements in bringing in sufficient capacity? Yes, we don't have sufficient capacity, but the presence in itself has been a force multiplier. If we don't do it, Michelle, this insurgency is going to keep on spiraling. There's a new leadership in place. They are being guided and directed by the Islamic State Central in terms of finances and in terms of propaganda support. They're being recognized by the Islamic State Central. We are in a mess, a humanitarian tragedy beyond belief.
Jasmine, would you say that Total Energies and it wanting to restart that natural gas project, or indeed ExxonMobil also developing an LNG project in northern Mozambique, it's pushing forward on that? It says the security situation has improved. Do these different projects have anything to do with the restarting of these kinds of attacks?
No. Michelle, the importance of the LNG sector and how it's directing the government's, Maputo government's intervention strategy There is a direct correlation because of the benefits, not only for Mozambique, for the whole region. But the insurgents have never targeted any LNG site. It has targeted contractors. It has never made direct threats against the LNG sites. It is not even part of their propaganda narrative as we sit here. I'm not sure why people are making that correlation. Either opportunity presents itself, most likely it will. But Rwanda is out full force to protect that. Total has not lifted force majeure. But Michelle, it's running at full steam ahead, which is good for the region. South Africa sits with a massive unemployment problem. Can you just imagine the downstream employment opportunities if we can deal with the insurgency? But I'm afraid the way it's going now, we have stepped back and lost out another 5 to 10 years in being able to deal with this insurgency.
Are you saying that we should also be doing more here as a country and insofar as our position at SADC is concerned?
Yes, we should do more. And here I don't only want to refer to South Africa, but the region. It is as if our leaders do not understand what is the bigger picture surrounding the insurgency of an Islamic terror group at full force. Diplomatic pressure now is crucial. Maputo needs to revisit its complete strategy. Let's take the European Union training intervention. It claims to have trained 1,650 special forces from the Mozambican security forces. You can train them, Michelle, it's good. I support that. Train them. But there's no logistical support to them. You deploy them in Cabo Delgado. They don't get paid for over 12 months. When they get shot and killed, their bodies get left behind. There is no loyalty, and there's no trust even in their own government. And when the insurgents attack, what do? They retreat. Because why? The problem with logistical support. And what is the choice here? I stay, I fight like a brave hero, and I lose my head and I get beheaded. I'd rather run.
Yeah.
We've seen it with this attack in Macomia when they retreated.
And Jasmine, to be clear, Mozambique is a neighbor of ours. Cabo Delgado province is not very far away from South African shores. What is the risk, Jasmine, would you say, to us on South African soil, just given the proximity of the attack?
A very good, a valid question. There are a few unique features here, but let's focus on your question. Cabo Delgado insurgency remains in its violent presentation confined to Cabo Delgado and neighboring districts like Nampula. It is, and there are no indications that it is going to explode like we have seen in Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger. There is simply none. I do not foresee a situation where the insurgency will transcend borders directly into South Africa. Our problem is financing. And I'm not talking directly from here to Mozambique. No, that amount is small. It's so small it's irrelevant. The money going to Kenya, Somalia, and the DRC, and now the Islamic, and remember the Islamic State has a clear strategy. Islamic State Mozambique get 20% of money feeding back into the coffers of Islamic State Central. The same with ISCAB in the DRC. So it's the whole financial aspect. In terms of people going to Cabo Delgado to support the insurgency, Michelle, since 2017, in all the reports I have and my database, I have not picked up one South African. To be honest, Michelle, with a tongue in cheek, if you don't mind, even if they go, they will not survive for 24 hours in Cabo Delgado. It's a hostile area. So the issue of people flooding now to support out of loyalty, even that is a low possibility. It is the financial capability, and linked to that, the open grounds in South Africa for the financing of international terror groups.
And that in itself is incredibly worrying, isn't it, Jasmine?
It is extremely concerning. Look, I do understand it's an extremely difficult case or issue to prove terror financing. There is a case now underway in South Africa by the Hawks, and let's not divulge detail. Let's allow them to proceed with the case. But one case is not going to make a difference. Michelle, I can take you today, now as we sit here, and I can take you to Joburg, and I can take you to Mayfair, and I will go and take you to 2 shops that I know of, and I'm not an intelligence service, that I know where money is willingly being supplied to the Islamic State. What is it about our security forces, our hawks, our cats, that they do not get more assertive and preventing these transfers, or not preventing, but prosecuting those involved? We have sadly become like an unofficial bank for some terrorist organizations.
I mean, these are incredibly serious statements you're making, Jasmine, and to your knowledge, is this something that South African intelligence is aware of, monitoring?
I would hope so, Michelle. As you know, the day you leave intelligence, they close the doors on you. I'm not sure what's happening within intelligence, Michelle, but it seems like they're more obsessed with restructuring than actually executing their mandate. And restructuring will make no difference. I do know that informally I've been told by people in intelligence, and they are committed intelligence officers, Michelle. Let's not do a blanket approach. Mm-hmm. They are truly professional, committed intelligence officers that's doing good work. But when it comes to the prosecution, Michelle, why is it that dossiers keep on disappearing in courts? Why is it that we cannot prosecute people suspected of Islamist extremist organization support? And yet when it comes to right-wing extremism, we can do that damn quickly. What is going on here, Michelle? I don't have an answer. I'm answering your question by giving a question, which I cannot explain. Are they focusing on terrorism? I can tell you, yes, without a doubt, they're focusing on terrorism. It is a national project. How well they're doing it, I would rather refrain and leave that for them to explain.
Jasmine Opperman, you've given us a lot to think about this afternoon. Thanks very much indeed for your time. And of course, this comes on the back of this latest and some say boldest attack in Mozambique in 3 years. Islamic State insurgents attacking the town of Macomia in Mozambique's Cabo Delgado region.